What powers your fitness journey? Is it obligation? Is it opportunity? See, if you've ever noticed how attitude really just makes a big difference toward your exercise, it can completely change your energy levels as a result, right? So today we're going to dive into the profound impact of shifting that have to, like I have to get my exercise in, to I choose to when it comes to your fitness routine. So we're going to talk about those things, but if you are ready to transform your mindset, let's unravel this shift of yours so that you can propel yourself from being, I don't know, feeling like victim into a victor. I don't know if that's you or not, but if it is, join me over at talktoperry.com and let's learn together about empowering your fitness path. Talktoperry.com, I'll drop that right down there in the lower third. So, and also, welcome to another Power Blast podcast where we provide nourishment for the soul, allowing you to transform from the inside out in mindset and fitness so that you can recharge that mental and physical battery of yours and reclaim your power. The language that we use internally, and I'm talking about the self-talk stuff, it really plays a critical role in our fitness success, actually in a lot of things in life, and you probably already know that. But when you say have to, I have to work out, I have to get this done, it can tend to feel like a chore. I mean, kind of notice that language. If you do, it's like, oh, I have to get this done. I have to. It's kind of like this to-do list that just seems like it's constantly compressing. And I was on a training the other day when somebody was making this comparison and just shifting just some of the language. You can feel and approach things a little bit differently because when you shift it to get to, it becomes more of a privilege. And when you stick in the have to mentality, that's more of like a victim mode. Get to, you're kind of leveling to a different frequency. But when you get to choose to, you totally take control. You totally elevate your power. I mean, it empowers you to be a decision maker. And I know there's a lot of times people think, I make quick decisions. I make decisions very confidently. Yet when push comes to shove, and I'm speaking to myself as well, I'm getting better at this. There can be this wavering, this second guessing, this, oh gosh, what am I going to have to give up? And we start to negotiate with ourselves before we even get started. That's what happened to me when it came to working out. I knew I was at a point where I was so out of shape, so overweight, and to undo all those unhealthy habits from years and years and years of drifting, it didn't seem like it was even possible. And when I started adopting this perspective of, going from have to choose to, I know it's just some semantics, right? But by shifting that, you take control because you're consciously choosing to work out. And that really engages you more deeply. Even that sort of mindset, that sort of thinking, that sort of self-talk can push you past plateaus and give you a sense of purpose and personal commitment. So when I dial it back to when I was beginning my journey, it was a lot of have to moments. Oh, I have to get this done. Oh, I have to do this. And I'm like literally trying to convince myself to show up. And at the same time, I'm convincing myself that I can put it off and catch up over the weekend, or I could do doubles the next day, or I just don't feel like it. Maybe I'll work out extra hard the next day. It was all this stuff. And that was, I realized that was keeping me stuck. I have to do this. And it kind of like approaching my fitness as this chore, yet not doing anything, being unhealthy, sluggish, no energy was also a chore. And so it was kind of like choose your hard, choose your difficulty here. But when I started to really dig into this mindset, the self-talk, the decision making, shifting just a few perspectives on how I approach things, I started making this, I decided that I was going to get fit. and then committing. And with that committing, I'm taking action, not because I have to, and really not even because I get to, because there is a sense of gratitude when you get to do something. I get to, but because I choose to, I'm choosing to do this. That set me on a launch pad. It's now been well over 20 years, might even be 21 years. Let me do the math here. 22 years since I made that, 21 years since I made that decision, and have stayed with it. And the thing is, it's like I probably drifted off course for maybe about 10, 15 years. So I've been on course a lot longer that way. But it's been just a mind shift game. And, just looking at how did embracing my power of choice impact my motivation and results. And you will find that will change your motivation as well. When you start to go into, I'm choosing to do this, kind of like what you choose to have for eating. I'm choosing to do this. I'm not giving up my power because I have to do this. And it seems like a burden. It seems like a chore. And yeah, I'm overweight and I gotta do it. No, I'm choosing to do this. And that boosted the energy. That boosted the mindset. It accelerated the results. Speaking of energy, that's why I tell people, hop on a recharge call with me. And I call it recharge because so many of us, we bounce from thing to thing to thing all day long. We've got these big to-do lists, and we go about our lives like we are a 6-year-old smartphone, 2% battery life, no charger in sight, right? So head over to talktoperry.com because I want to help you recharge. I want to hear what things you're working through, what's become a struggle for you, what's become an energy drain for you. And I'll tell you within 15 minutes of us talking together what's going to get you the best results, where you're going to be able to have the best direction to recharge that battery of yours and reclaim your power. And I'll even share my Power 5 strategy with you so that you can reach all your goals. I often tell people, tell me what what you want in life, and I will show you how to get it. So, and I also ask, how would your life look different if your mental and physical battery is running at 100% every single day? I mean, that's much different than scrambling around like you don't have a charger in sight, right? TalkToPerry.com is where that's at. So remember, every workout, it's an opportunity to honor your body and your choices. And I get it. Sometimes we come across an exercise or some program or something, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I just don't like doing that. But even with that little shift of going, but I'm choosing to do it anyway, can be a much more wow, as opposed to, oh, I've got to go through this entire workout with a bunch of dread and regret. A much different feeling, probably a much different energy, and probably a much different workout, as opposed to, but I'm going to choose to do this anyway because it's going to make me better. It's going to make me healthier, happier. This is the way I approached yoga. Yoga I used to avoid because I found it a dread. And it wasn't even because I had given it a fair shot. It was one of these things I dabbled in a little bit, 5 minutes here, and I just didn't like it. It didn't enthuse me. But when I said, you know what, I'm going to choose to add in yoga once a week just to see, does it even make a difference? And it did. It blew me away. I just did a yoga session this morning before this recording, and it makes all my other workouts so much better. So you can embrace this power and just watch how your fitness and life transform just by choosing to fully engage in your health. It's not just about getting fit. It's about crafting and designing a life that you love, one choice and one decision at a time. And just know you can choose to use your power and take control, or you can let excuses, and we'll put it in the category of defending your limitations, negotiating with yourself, justifying your busy to-do list, comparing yourself to others. You can let all of that control you and drain your power. It really boils down to deciding and committing to yourself and your goals, and then deciding and choosing to figure out new ways, looking at possibilities, learning and growing, and keep moving forward. You've got this, my friend. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. Drop those down in the comments if you got any takeaways, or just drop it and say hi. I do promise to reach out and say, hey, I reply to those comments, and I'd just love to hear what you got from this. You absolutely rock, my friend, and as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in, and remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find this show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.